Hi there. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, podcast, or wherever it is that you are listening to this episode. My name is Heather Monthy, and this is the Let's Learn to Fly podcast. So if you have joined me from my previous podcast, Discover Drones, welcome. This is a whole new feed. I still need to go over to Discover Drones and create an episode to send people over here. But the reason for the rebrand is that we are going to be talking about more than just drones. We're going to be talking about learning how to fly airplanes and other types of aircraft as well. I am here to answer all of the questions that you have about learning how to fly, about starting a drone business, all that good stuff. So I feel like the Let's Learn to Fly name is a little bit more appropriate for what it is that we will be talking about in the future on this podcast. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Heather Monthy. I am a flight instructor and professional STEM educator, and I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad that we have encountered each other through this podcast or video, wherever it is that you are watching or listening from today. So today's episode, what I wanted to do is talk about some of the different types of side hustles that you can start with your drone. So I've got a list of 10 amazing side hustles that you can start with your drone. So I want to talk a little bit about, what they are, what some of your options are. But first, before you start a drone business, you need to purchase a drone that is suitable for what it is that you want to do. So you have to figure out what it is that you want to do with your drone first. And then you will need to pass the FAA Part 107 remote pilot exam. This is a requirement here in the United States for you. If you are going to fly commercial drone operations, you need to have passed that particular exam. And there's a rule of thumb that I always like to share that if you are flying commercially, money does not need to exchange hands for it to be a commercial operation. The rule of thumb that I always like to share with people is that if it's not recreational, it's commercial, okay? So recreational is you're just up, you're flying your drone, you're having a good time, it's your hobby, you're out having a good day. If somebody asks you to go, film their kid's high school football game, or you're doing somebody a favor by filming their wedding, something like that. Now we're getting into where we are doing commercial operations, even if you're doing it just as a favor, okay? So I do have a link for you if you are interested in getting that certificate, passing that exam. I do have a link for you to get my free study guide where I point out all the different free options that the FAA has. I am in the process of developing a full course to help you if you're looking for an actual course to just sort of guide you through everything that you need to know for that particular exam. So once you've got your drone, you've got your Part 107 certificate, then you've got to find customers that are willing to pay for your services. So you can start by marketing to friends and family, of course, but then you might want to move on then to local businesses, figure out what geographic area you want to serve. If you don't want to drive that far, then don't market to businesses that far. And then once you've got some experience under your belt, then you can start targeting sort of these larger businesses, organizations, get some of that practice beforehand before you start targeting some of those larger businesses and organizations. And your prices are really just going to depend on the type of service that you provide. Some people charge $50 an hour. Some people charge $250 an hour. You're going to see jobs that are posted out there that they're going to try lowballing you. They're going to want you to do it for free. They're going to give you flight time, all that stuff. But you've got to know exactly what it is that your worth is that you bring to the table for that particular organization. So let's get into what those 10 amazing side hustles are that you can start with your drone. The first is that you can film aerial footage of landscapes and nature. It's a great way to make use of the 4K camera or whatever type of camera that you have on your drone, and you can capture some extremely stunning footage. You could sell this footage to stock video websites. You could create your own nature-themed YouTube channel. There's a lot of different options that you can do there. Number 2 is to capture unique aerial shots of weddings, graduations, and other celebrations. They're perfect. Drones are perfect for capturing aerial shots of special events. You could work with event planners or just individuals that are looking to add some unique photos or videos to their particular events. One thing to take into consideration here is that, especially with weddings where it's sort of a quieter event, drones do make noise. And so you want to make sure that you're working with the bride and the groom and the event planner, if there is one, to make sure that you are filming at a time that is appropriate to them, and have their understanding that there could be some noise that comes with that. Number 3 is to help with search and rescue missions in difficult to reach places. So drones can be used to search for people who are difficult or who are lost in difficult terrain. Think about the mountains, the deep forest. You can work with local law enforcement or volunteer organizations to help with these types of missions. Number 4 is to help farmers survey crops and land for irrigation purposes. Farmers you can use drones with, if you're a farmer, you can do this yourself. With your Part 107 certificate, you can use drones to survey crops and land, help to plan for irrigation and other purposes. Maybe you are not a farmer, but you want to offer up your services to farmers in your area. Think about some of the options that you might be able to offer them, type of services that you may be able to offer farmers. Number 5 is to use drones to inspect property or infrastructure for damage or defects. Drones can be used to inspect bridges, buildings, other structures for damage or defects, things like this. You can work specifically with engineering firms or government agencies to provide this type of service. Even insurance companies, sometimes they're looking for some video footage of damage that may have occurred as a result of a natural disaster, which leads me into number 6. You can survey construction sites or damage after a natural disaster. Construction companies, insurance agencies can use drones to survey construction sites or damage after a natural disaster. It doesn't even necessarily need to be a construction site. It can be, if a large windstorm comes through or if a tornado comes through, insurance companies might want to see some aerial footage of individual properties. So you could offer up your services to work as a contractor through those types of businesses, insurance companies, construction agencies, etc. Number 7 is that you can use drones as tools for research and data collection that are in difficult to reach places. So just like when we're talking about search and rescue missions, there may be some scientists who are trying to collect data in difficult to reach places. Maybe you are a scientist trying to collect this data. So drones can be used to collect data in difficult to reach places. We're thinking here again, remote forests, mountains. You can work with different research organizations to provide this service. You can look up those organizations online, but maybe you work for one of those research organizations. This is a fantastic use of your Part 107 certificate and your drone. Number 8 is to capture footage of sporting events or concerts. Now, you need to remember that you cannot fly your drone over certain types of sporting events, such as baseball games, football games, large, NFL, that kind of thing. When you get your training for your Part 107 certificate, you will learn how to look up something called TFRs, or temporary flight restrictions. And there will be flight restrictions over certain large events where you cannot fly your drone over that particular event for security purposes, okay? But for some smaller sporting events or concerts, you can use your drone to capture unique footage of those sporting events or concerts. You could sell your services to the event planners or to some individuals who are looking to add some unique photos or videos to their specific events. Number 9 is real estate photography. I hesitated putting this one here, but I did add it because seems to be sort of the spot where everybody wants to get started with flying their drones as sort of the side hustle. You can use your drone to take aerial photos and videos of properties that are for sale. You would work directly with real estate agents or even people that are trying to sell their home for sale by owner to provide this type of service. This is something that a lot of people are doing. So the market can be saturated depending on where you are in the United States. The market could be saturated. There are a lot of people who are taking some of this footage on their own. A lot of real estate agents, maybe they've got their Part 107 certificate and they're doing these videos on their own. But if you are a real estate agent, this could be a great add-on service that you can provide to your customers, is to get the Part 107 certificate. But I just know that people they're not necessarily real estate agents, they've got their drone certificate and they're trying to figure out where to sort of get launched with their drone business. They will start out with drone real estate photography. And number 10 is to start a drone light show. This is a relatively new business idea, but it is one that is growing in popularity. So you can use multiple drones to create unique light displays for parties and events. You could sell your services to event planners or just some individuals that are looking to add some extra flair to their events. I think these drone light shows are pretty cool. I myself would love to just learn how to put one together. But so these are 10 different creative side hustles that you can start with your drone. So with a little bit of creativity and marketing, you can turn your drone and your Part 107 certificate into a lucrative business. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started doing it. So again, I have provided a link for you if you want to grab my study guide for the Part 107 certificate. Grab it. I take all the different FAA resources and show you exactly what it is that you have to study for that exam. So if you've enjoyed this episode, I really would appreciate it if you would share it with somebody who you think may find it beneficial. Please leave me a review on iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. Your feedback helps me to continue to produce some great high quality content. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.